We've experienced a number of large storms here on Long Island, so when I first heard that a potential Category 5 storm was going to hit Puerto Rico, of course you think, my God, what's going to happen to those people?
I kind of knew a little about Puerto Rico. I had honeymooned there 20 years ago, and I knew that their system would not be able to withstand 150-mile-an-hour winds.
The system had been neglected long before the storm hit, and the storm just took down what was weak.
I was approached by my supervisor. He called me one morning on my day off and said, "Hey, how do you feel about going down to Puerto Rico?"
Being asked to go there, I look at it as an honor to be able to go down and help the people down there. I've gone on several trips doing restoration type of work, and it's always a good feeling to go down and be able to, help out other areas.
As soon as they asked, I said, sure, I'll go.
I signed up immediately. I checked with my family, of course, and made sure it would be okay if I did volunteer.
I have 3 kids and a wife, and it was spoke about before I left, and leaving for Christmas was going to be tough, but it was for a good reason.
I missed the birthdays and the holidays, and but once they understood that it was to help out our neighbors in Puerto Rico, they were very supportive.
We only had like a week's notice, so we had a lot to do to get ready.
We needed to get shots, inoculations, because at the time we didn't know if we were going to be in a tent city. We didn't know if we'd be sharing rooms. We didn't know anything about it.
All they knew was we're going to send people down, we're going to help these people out. I was very happy that we were going to go down, but at the same time, we didn't know what we were walking into.
We heard, from people that were down there already, and it was pretty bad, and stuff you saw on the news.
There was a 60-minute episode about Puerto Rico and all the devastation, and all I remember about that was the blue tarps that were covering all the houses in Puerto Rico.
So we saw a lot of blue tarps from the sky flying in.
The place was flooded with blue tarps, so a lot of these poor people are living in that.
When I first got to Puerto Rico and looked at the power system and what we were faced with, I would say I was a little overwhelmed.
During Sandy on Long Island, we had isolated neighborhoods that were destroyed, and compared to Puerto Rico, where there was widespread destruction all across the areas we worked in.
It was not at all what I was expecting. It was a lot worse. It had been 100 and something days since the storm when we got there, and it looked like it had just happened yesterday.
The people were in pretty bad shape. They just wanted power back on. You see little kids running around. You feel sad.
Debris was everywhere. You really had to focus not only on where you were driving in order to get to the location, because there were no traffic lights.
Driving was chaotic, and you learned real quick how bad the damage was.
These guys would have to get out of the trucks and use their climbing gear and climb the poles and actually get the lines out of the way before they could even get the trucks into the neighborhoods.
Cement poles, metal poles, wood poles, didn't matter. Every pole came down. Every transformer, thousands of feet of cable just wrapped up on the side of the road 6 weeks after Maria.
The weather was in the mid-80s. Each afternoon there would be maybe 20 minutes to 2 hours worth of rain. So now each day when those heavy rains came, especially in the hills, there would be rivers flowing down the hill, and it would wash away and undermine the roads.
The safety was of paramount importance to everybody. PSEG Long Island here made sure that when we went down there that don't do anything that's unsafe.
They had no supplies there. They didn't have transformers, wire, nothing.
We were cutting down wire that was for streetlights to put back up as house services because there was no wire.
We just worked with what was there and what we could find or scavenge from someplace else.
There were a lot of towns that we were asked to go to work in. There must have been at least 20 over the 30 days, but some of them, like Agua Buenas, beautiful town, villages high in the mountain. We went down to Rincon. We were all over the island.
Olvídate de ese muro, que si voy a Nueva York.
Meeting the locals was by far the greatest part of the trip.
The people, for being out that long, were remarkably resilient. They were willing to give you everything they had. And a lot of these people were people that didn't have much.
Some days you'd be depressed, you know. I was depressed at first about being away for Christmas and stuff, but you're getting people back on. You know, you're making a little difference.
Some of them had nothing, and they would bring us water, give us food, and go out and buy. One guy went out and bought us coffee.
Considering what they've gone through, you couldn't ask for better quality people. There are people who actually would buy us water. They invited into our homes.
A young woman came out to ask me a question in Spanish, and I stopped her and I said English. So she ran in and got her 5-year-old daughter, and they were communicating, and the daughter turns to me and says, "My mom wants to know if we're going to have lights for Christmas." And I told her no, and the mother started to cry, you know, but that was the experience. Your heart broke every day for these people, but you did your best, and you told them the truth.
We had been down there for probably 3 or 4 days, and a friend in New York had sent a text that said a teacher on Long Island who was a friend of a friend, her Aunt Titi, had not been heard from in weeks. Communication was still extremely poor. So they gave us an address, and I said, I have no idea where this is. 2 days later, we drove to this address in the evening, and we're driving down the block, and I'm yelling out, Senora Cortez, Senora Cortez. And this older woman comes out, and she goes, see? And I said to her, Chloe sent us from Nueva York to make sure you're okay. And this woman who's in her mid to late 80s, she just started crying in the street. So we got out and hugged. We took a selfie, and we sent it to Chloe back in New York and let her know that our aunt was okay.
There was one woman that we was speaking to, and the line crews were working in the whole neighborhood, and we were getting ready to turn on the power, and she had come out, and once the power had come on, she was very excited. She was pretty much like dancing in the street with an American flag wrapped around her, and it was pretty neat to see.
The last day we were there, we turned on a school, an elementary school.
We weren't sure if we were going to do it or not because we needed wire. We needed like 600 feet of wire. And it's the last day, and it's like, oh, this is not going to happen. But then the supervisor showed up with all this wire. So I'll agree with it. So we ran like 3 phases in, 200 feet each, long sections. And then we checked everything out, and then we all got together. And so let's turn the school on last day, you know. So we turned the school on.
And the kids had come out, and they were cheering and running around.
The principal's running around going crazy, so it was pretty cool.
We were there for Christmas, and Christmas morning we were able to turn an entire neighborhood on, and it was probably the best experience I could explain. The lights came on, and all you see is Christmas lights and Christmas trees. People are running and screaming out of their houses at 7:30 in the morning. People are crying. I was crying. You know, you have people praying. You know, an old lady. I'll never forget this. This old woman. She had to be close to 80 years old. Got down on her hands and knees and prayed and said, "You are angels sent from God."
The people came out, banging pots and pans together, screaming like it was New Year's Eve. It was just an amazing feeling. It actually got emotional for a lot of the guys to be able to do that. And that was a week into it. So, and it kind of it recharged us after that first week and got us going again. And then we just continued every day after that.
I feel we had a great crew. Everyone got along. No matter how bad the situations were, we always acted like pros and got the job done.
This is what we do. We put power on, you know, put lights on, put poles in the ground, and we do it every day here, but we made a difference by going down there.
What impressed me most is how many people were involved in helping out.
This was not an individual effort for the people that went down there. We had a big team behind us, and very proud and grateful to them for the work that they did as well.
Having PSEG send me down there as part of the New York contingency was a great opportunity. Anytime you can make your teenage children proud of you, it's a teaching moment. So I'm proud that I made them proud of me.
The experience of being there and being able to help somebody is it's a great feeling. It's something that you're not going to be able to do a lot in your life, and if you get the chance, I definitely recommend that you do it. every opportunity you can.